All right, let's go. Let me bookmark that again, and we're rolling. Hey, friends, today we are playing in a match between Aburble and the Alchemists, the team formerly known as 16 in reference to the hit Canadian animated televised animation series. On Team Aburble is Colin, who is looking to be playing Killjoy, Gogg, who is going to play Phoenix, and Alex, who is going to play seemingly Omen. And on Team Alchemists, well, it's blank right now. And really,
Notably,
they're the wild card.
a roster change on the side of Team Alchemists, and they made the switch from 16 in reference to the hit Canadian television series to the Alchemists. We saw Rosie departing the roster in exchange for Jacory.
Yeah, so it's kind of a big wild card there as far as what's going to happen with them.
Yeah, I think Jacory is definitely high skill level. Kind of in comparison to some of these other people, and he's going to be the one to watch on that team. And I would say maybe Gogg, also on the other team, is the one to watch for Aburble.
Of course.
But that said, these are all great players who all have their moments that can all pop off at any given moment. So it'll definitely be interesting to see.
I will say one thing I want to account for. Talking in pregame interviews with Colin, he told me about the intimidation factor of Jacory on this team. And I think that's a really heavy topic to discuss, because Jacory does bring with him this gravitas of a character. And so, will Aburble be able to overcome it? That's the question.
It's like not only is Jacory this, big, scary, deep-voiced personality who's cracked at Valorant, but also he's the only person here who hasn't actually lost a match yet. Exactly. He's undefeated, personally, in this tournament.
And so that's something to look at. I mean, is Jacory not eliminated after this game?
Jacory has to lose another time after this. If they lose.
Going in solo next round.
This looks like an A take on the part of Aburble with Jacory finding Gogg in a quick push by Gogg into lamps. And then Jacory and looks like Coffee are going to retreat, get a heal going, and speculate on a rotate to B. But what they don't realize is that the two members of Aburble are just on A. Colin catches the rotate. He's going to get sandwiched between Coffee and Salted. Gets taken down while he's trying to whip out his turret. Now a 2v1 against the Omen for Aburble, Alexino.
And that spike is just in a tough spot. I mean,
it really is. Colin just waltzed into CT with the spike. Alex is going to have to go get it.
30 seconds left.
Triggers an alarm bot that Salted set up to guard the spike, and now they know where he is. Some shots exchanged between Alex and Coffee, both relatively low on health now. Alex more so, probably within one tap of Salted, who will indeed one tap him.
All right, I did.
And that's the round. This team looks very different from the first week. I mean, not only just Jacory, Salted is playing significantly better.
Yeah, Salted already carrying the 2-0-0 scoreline.
He is.
Looks like he was, he got the kills. He was using his Killjoy utility to make up for a lot of the ground that kind of is lost by having only 3 people as opposed to 5.
And I think that's going to be big. I mean, for a lot of this tournament, I feel like Sentinels are going to gain more and more power. I mean, Sage has been pretty much a must pick in every match, but with someone like Killjoy also being there, it can help out a lot, especially on Bind.
Looks like Aburble went for a quick demonstration of presence in showers, but then they've left. So I think maybe they were perhaps trying to draw the rotate, which they have with now all 3 defenders on the A site. But Aburble looks like they've faked a rotate. hoping that the enemies will rotate off of A, which is not happening maybe as quickly as they'd like, with Jacory and Coffee remaining on A to defend. But Gogg with a great headshot takes out Coffee. Jacory blinds nobody, but gets a kill nevertheless. But Gogg fires back, claps back, and gets the trade against Jacory, and it's just left assaulted. He gets the headshot on Gogg, and now it's 1v1. Salted has utility.
Salted almost swarm grenaded the spike, which I think... Oh, no, Salted! Oh. He just got stuck.
Yeah, he had the right idea trying to use his utility, but Colin had the swarm grenades of his own in place to take out Salted, who was already on low health.
I think we've got the makings of another back-and-forth match. Which is kind of cool. I'm excited.
Agreed. 1-1 scoreline, even already. So much of a back and forth in just the first few rounds. Salted continuing to be at the top of the leaderboard. And looks like it's going to be a bit of a ragged buy from Team Alchemists, as only Salted's going to have an AR, whereas on Aburble, got the full set of ARs and full shields, and there's going to be a quick B take, it looks like, with the Phoenix ult to create some space, and it's only Salted on site to defend. He's barely on site, he's in CT, so this is going to be a free site take for Aburble, although Gogg and Alex are a little bit slow to get onto site, but looks like we have Salted and Coffee in CT, looking maybe to wait. Oh, Salted did not wait, but he got the frag onto Alex. Meanwhile, we have Jacory coming up with a nasty flank through hookah. Gogg and Colin are both looking to play time, and they... Oh, and Gogg gets 2 kills. One's onto Salted and one onto Coffee, and now it's just up to Jacory with few seconds remaining. And Gogg gets a technical ace. A clean aim. Taking out all 3 defenders and securing the post plant. Another round for Aburble.
And that's going to be the big thing here, is looking at Gogg. I mean, if he can play consistently at the level he just did in that round, it's going to be very hard for the Alchemists to kind of work around it.
I think what we saw that round was really a demonstration of the power of attacking in 3v3. They just kind of overwhelmed the one defender on site. They got lucky that it was a 2-1 split with 2 on A, and they went B. But now it looks like they're going B again, but the defenders have wisened up, putting both Coffee and Salted here on the B site. Coffee looking to play a cheeky angle and maybe get a pick when they don't expect him. Gogg spots Salted swarm grenade flying out of hookah, so they know where Salted is. But they have no idea about Coffee.
Let's see, do they peek the angle?
They're in garden. Will they check the corner? They do check the corner. Colin gets the pick onto Coffee. They know that Salted is still in showers. And they heard the teleporter. Jacory ults out of the teleporter and gets the pick onto Colin before he can plant. They know that both players are around teleporter hookah area. A battle back and forth between hookah and site. The spike is not down. Or it is down, it's not planted.
It's sitting on the roof.
It's up!
30 seconds left.
Got spike.
You're gonna try to get the spike down. Looks like they're gonna be able to plant inside the tube. Salted's made his way to garden, and Jacory from hookah takes out Alex, who's around CT. It's just left to Gogg, who cannot get it done as he gets picked off by Salted. Free defuse, bringing the score back up to a tied situation.
2-2. Ooh. I do want to note a little fun trivia here. I think this is the first game that we haven't had Arena played on either of the teams. Unless your match had Arena, right?
Yeah, both of our matches had Arena, at least on one team or the other. We didn't have one on our team both times, but
I guess I expected it to be pretty much a constant pick, at least on one of the teams for each match. I just noticed that fact.
I've not been private with my own disagreement with Reyna's quality as a 3v3 character, but yes.
You're dead.
No, that was just
Looks like now with Phoenix ult, Gogg's looking to create space on B, and the Killjoy ult as well. Colin gets to pick on Salted, and they have the site, with Coffee just kind of hanging out in CT. Oh, and Alex lurking on A manages to pick off Jacory, and that's a clean round for Aburble. Kicking all the frags with no casualties.
Insanely fast. Really great take. Sure, it blew 2 ults, which is kind of big, but it was the easiest take of the game. Kind of crazy, honestly.
I think Aburble is intentionally avoiding Jacory as much as possible, forcing him to play retake every round. And so we'll see if the defenders wisen up and maybe change up where Jacory's playing so he can be a little bit more proactive about securing these rounds. And it looks like that is what they have done. They've taken Jacory off of A and put him on B, potentially expecting Aburble to go B. And 2 of them are, but Colin has the spike, and he's looking to finish on A. We might see Alex and Gogg show their presence at B, and then perhaps use the teleporter to meet up with Colin and go plant on A. They are firing shots on B, and the defenders are aware that they're there, but Coffee is still holding the A short angle.
He's just hanging out. I think that the Alchemists have picked up on the strategy here.
They have, but it doesn't matter because Gogg gets the pick on... Who was that? On Salted, but then Jacory manages to find Alex, so it's brought to a 2-2. The Phoenix is about to meet each other in CT by B, and Coffee gets a clean pick on Colin right as Jacory takes out Gogg, bringing it back to a tie.
It was a cat and mouse fight, that game, with Coffee and Colin just not knowing when to engage with the other, and it was a really cool round. Kind of a very slow, grindy round.
That round was a slow burn. You had kind of this clear strategy from Aburble. Didn't quite get the results they were looking for. I think they were hoping for a massive rotate by the defenders, which didn't happen. Smart patience by Coffee. Now we're looking at a 3-man shower push. From the attackers, and I believe that their presence is now known, and it definitely is now as Gogg is ulting the Phoenix ult to take a look around site. They have no idea that Coffee is in lamps, nor that Sultan's in heaven.
Spike planted.
I'm expecting Coffee to perhaps get a sneaky frag here, and he does.
Jacory also ulted through teleporter, trying to catch the flank.
Coffee starts to defuse but doesn't destroy the Killjoy mollies, and he realizes his mistake in time to not take too much damage. Looks like he's gonna, again, not destroy the second Killjoy molly and get punished for that. But now Jacory's gonna cover for him while he defuses.
Last player standing.
And Colin manages to kill both of them. Tries to defuse Salted. Almost gets it with some whiffs by Colin, but Colin eventually in the last 0.16 seconds manages to take him down.
That was... I mean, for one, Coffee not shooting the mollies was tough. Coffee... Those mollies came in clutch. I mean, Colin in general played that round really well. and got
besides
outside of those whips. But,
besides a bit of a whiff at the end, but he got the job done. You're right.
yeah, I mean, so
No, it looks like perhaps a B split, or just a B long push, instead of any lurking or faking shenanigans. We're gonna see if Aburble can take a lead of more than one, or if we're gonna get it back up to a tie here. The defenders look like they're rotating to B now that the shots have been fired. Colin's gonna pop his Killjoy ult to try to secure the site. Cough. Oh, Salted meets up with Gogg and Elbow and gets the pick on him. Jacory finds Alex. Colin's not gonna finish the plant of the spike for some reason. He's gonna get blinded, and he gets the pick on Jacory as soon as he stops being blind, but then gets traded out by Salted, bringing it once again to a tie.
I mean, it's just back and forth, back and forth. It's like a seesaw, and just they're trying to find that balance, and it's just constant.
This might shape up to be the closest, or one of, if not the closest match we see so far.
I mean, and that's what's just crazy about this whole thing. I mean, we'll have to see what happens once the teams switch sides, but if this keeps up with it, who knows how, long this game could go.
Careful now.
Unlike the swift three-man push from last round, which didn't work out for Aburble, we're seeing once again a split. They're just scattered all across the map, but Salted finds Alex in the B mid area. Clean pick, doesn't get traded because none of the teammates of Alex are there to trade him. Colin finds Coffee though, again, and he doesn't realize it, but A is wide open with the two other defenders just on B. Colin could just go up and plant the spike, which he's doing.
He is.
And Jacory is a little bit late to the party, only now making it into CT.
And the hard part is I don't think either of them know where Gogg is.
I don't think they know where Gogg is, and I don't think the attackers know where Salted is. Gogg is coming up behind Jacory. He does only have a Marshall. Let's see. He actually ends up going into heaven as Jacory leaves CT, so they don't find each other. Gogg gets the shot on Salted. Salted has no idea that he was going to be in heaven. Looks like the spike's really ticking down. Jacory's not going to have time to defuse, and even if he did, Colin has the Killjoy equipment on it. A thrifty round for Aburble.
I mean, Aburble was really saving there. Colin got the kill on Coffee with a frenzy. I mean, that was very much a save round for Aburble, so a very good win for them.
And now it's the defenders who are forced to a bit of a staggered bye, with Coffee only being able to afford a Spectre. Although actually he could afford a better gun if he wanted, but he's not choosing to go for that. Whereas the attackers have full of shields and rifles all day, and they're choosing to leave the spike in A main.
I've seen this strategy
Perhaps.
before.
Yeah, so the defenders don't know where the spike is if one of them dies.
It's the plenty of fish strategy of leaving your options open.
Oh, Gogg with an embarrassing whiff on Salted, but it is okay because he was just in his ult. Alex takes out Coffee, and it's a full battle for A site now. Oh, Gogg gets the molly kill on Salted. He just tosses it into the corner that he knows where Salted is. Salted was already low and is done. The attackers can be safe to assume that Jacory has by now made his way to A site. It looks like they might go over to B with that in mind, with Gogg staying behind maybe to keep Jacory in place. Jacory kind of smells what's going on and is rotating over to B, but Gogg's going to get a flank on him. I expect it to be a successful one at that.
Yeah,
Jacory's in a really
no
tough
idea.
position.
Spike planted.
But the smoke from Alex allows Jacory not to...
Oh,
Well, spoke too soon. The smoke goes away. Gogg gets a line of sight on Jacory, who does get the kill on Alex, but gets taken out rather quickly.
might I refute, you smoke too soon.
I smoked too soon. Yes. Indeed.
Big lead now for Aburble. Tied for the biggest lead we've had this game. This is the biggest lead they've had since round 3, or well, round 4, when they were up.
I got you, bro.
Or no, this is the biggest
No,
lead
this is the
they've ever held.
first time a team is up by 2, and it's Aburble, the attackers. All 3 of the attackers are on B long, and Salted peeks out. Not ready, just gets gunned down. Colin pops his ult to secure the site, gets some of his utility down, and looks to plant the spike. But Jacory just hops onto site, not worried about the ult. And how did Jacory not get detained?
Player standing.
Ah,
That
that's
was
a
confusing.
good question. Coffee's gonna res Salted.
So now it's a 2-on-2 with Colin very low on health. So even though Colin got a clean pick on Jacory, now with Salted's ult going down, this could really go to either side.
Please shoot the swarm grenades. Good Coffee! Oh, but the other one planted within the box. Coffee's got to get out of there. He's not going to be able to stick it.
Coffee gets the spike to half, and now, yeah, with the Killjoy ult out of the way, Gogg can get onto site and defend the spike. Salted not able to defuse, and now Aburble's up by 3, extending their lead.
They are. This is, I mean, this is crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't know what to, think. I feel like, the Alchemists are still very much in this game. If they win this round, even if they lose this round, they're going to be going on to an attack, which, on bind historically tends to be better. So this should be, an interesting second half to watch.
Yeah, I would say that even a 4-8 defending half in this 3v3 game is going to be a pretty strong performance and put Alchemist in a good position to win the match. But that said, they will still be at a deficit of rounds, so we'll see what Aburble can do on defense. Looks like Gogg just is going around picking up ult orbs, so he'll have his ult on this final round of the half.
He just wants to run. He wants to run.
Wants the W key.
And he gets
Looks
it.
like he does. He clears sight. He even scopes out lamps, and they have the sight. I think the real key to this round is whether Coffee's flank is a successful one.
It was not.
It is not. Alex catches him at the right time.
Now
Now it's
Salted's
up
gonna
to Salt
try.
and Jacory.
Oh man.
And Gogg gets the double kill in swift succession, bringing the lead up to 8-4.
Sides.
A difficult but a manageable half for Alchemists, right? I mean, it's like they're mixing their potions, and a couple times the potions, hit gold. They got a health potion, but every so often the potion blew up in their face, and that's all right, because this half they just need more health potions. And so that's what we
Well
gotta kind of
said.
look for from the Alchemists. A lot of health potions, maybe some electricity. I want some shock value.
That was a joke that you made.
Thank you. Jacory's
Looks
on
like
spawn.
yeah, I was gonna say Jacory is gonna try to plant the spike and spawn maybe. But in reality, it looks like Alchemists on attack are gonna be starting out by heading to the B site with Coffee about to run into Colin, potentially near the garden area. The two others and Hookah get caught out by the turret. Colin retreats a little bit, maybe to get an angle on Hookah from CT. Goes back to elbow, and the three attackers are electing to rotate now that the rotation has come in for Aburble from Gogg, who's kind of roving from A to B back and forth, unsure of where the attackers plan to finish.
Shadows traveling.
Alchemists are creeping up A short. They don't know where any of the defenders are, but they spot out Alex and Lamps and are able to take him down, even though Salted
30
has to
seconds.
pay some health for his trouble with Coffee healing Jacory. Salted in one-tap range.
One enemy remaining.
Jacory gets the pick on Gogg, also brought very low on health, and Colin just needs to shoot both of these players once only to kill them. We'll see if he's able to. He's got a ghost, not the classic you could right-click with, and I think Salted and Jacory are just kind of playing these passive post-plant angles. Colin slowly checking all the corners.
One enemy remaining.
He spots Jacory and is able to get him with the wallbang because Jacory was on low health. Doesn't know that Salted's in cubby. And Salted, despite being on 16 health, manages to spray down Colin with the ghost.
Big
Colin
win.
couldn't hit a shot.
Big win. I mean, we're dealing with some high quality stuff here. You know, if they can get this ball rolling, it's like getting some good gemstones. You know, they might have found some gemstones.
Yeah, I mean, 5-8 is hugely different than 4-9. Alchemists are definitely in this game.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Salted gets a nice dink onto Alex, bringing him down to just a tiny bit of health, 13 health. Early in the round, not taking any damage. Quick trades. Gogg takes out Coffee, but Jacory has the gun to take out Gogg. And the spike has not been planted yet, but Jacory's...
Standing.
Oh! Salted sneaks up behind Alex and Lamps with no idea. Just stabs him in the back there. And is just up to Colin.
One enemy remaining.
Runs right into Jacory and right-clicks him in the face with the classic.
And a familiar situation.
Killjoy v Killjoy.
Salted's holding
playing
the
post-plant.
same spot.
Salted has the health, but Colin has the gun. Oh! And Salted tries to get back into
If I died right now.
deep mid with the movements, but Colin manages to pick him off with the stinger.
I haven't seen those moves since the 80s. I mean, that was...
I don't know. There's some serious grooving by Salted.
You know, I mean, they may not have got the point for the win in the round, but I'd give them solid points, and so you think you can dance.
Yeah, I think Salted's idea there was maybe to get Colin to chase him a little bit or lead him on a wild goose chase while the spike was ticking down, play time, and it was a good idea, just poor timing.
You just got, you know, you got caught like a fish in a fish trap.
So a round that was looking good for the attackers went to Burble instead. Now Alchemists looking at a three-man push of B, maybe a split between Long and Hookah with Jacory and Coffee sneaking up into Hookah. Both teams have somewhat staggered buys without full sets of rifles on on both sides, but the money for Aburble is definitely a lot better with Colin only not having a rifle because he's bonusing. Colin sets down his ult to kind of just make sure that pushing B is an impossibility for Alchemists, and indeed, Alchemists are rotating over to A as a result. It's just Alex holding his Lamps position that he's been holding all half. And he manages to take down Jacory
One enemy remaining.
and Coffee, neither of whom had the gun to really contest him. Salted does manage to take down Alex, but Colin's right there for the trade, bringing it up to a 5-round lead in favor of Aburble, current defenders. I don't know, they're kind of running away with it.
Aburble is proving to be a bubble that the Alchemists just can't pop in this second half.
Right, you are. It was looking a bit promising in the first attacking round for Alchemists, but their money has been kind of destroyed, and they've lost a couple rounds, so it's not looking too good.
They really
Like
need
this-
to get this one.
This round is super important. They need the money, they need the round, they can't let it get to 11 points for Aburble. And their strategy for securing this round looks like is going to be an A take. Unlucky for them that so happens that 2 defenders are on A. Gogg! And again, Alex from the same spot he's been playing all half manages to get a pick, but Jacory manages to get a pick on Gogg. And now it's 2v2. Still a battle for the A site. Oh, but Coffee gets taken down while he's healing. Jacory starts to plant, but
Last player standing.
fakes it and tricks Alex and gets a pick on him, and then gets the clean headshot on Colin. So that's another round for Alchemists. They needed that round and they got it.
With that plant money, they're going back up in the ranks. You know, they can use that money, invest in some Bitcoin, and fix their economy, and then I mean, really, they're back in the game with that round.
Although they're still not able to all full buy. Like Coffee's gonna just be on a classic and Salted on light shields. But that said, Aburble isn't able to fully buy as well with a Spectre in the hands of Alex.
Looks like we're finally getting a B push too. I mean, for once.
Yeah, they kind of learned their lesson when there were 2 defenders on A last round. They suspect it might be the same story this round, and it is. The turret spots out Jacory.
Going up.
We'll see if it prompts a rotate from either of the defenders. Salted throws down his ult to try to take the site. Seems like nobody has destroyed a single Killjoy molly all game, despite there being 2 Killjoys. They're just eating them every time. The 2 top frags get traded back and forth, bringing it down to a 2-2.
Last player standing.
Alex gets a clean headshot on Salted and elbow. Just a 1-tap.
30 seconds left.
Now it's all up to Coffee,
One enemy remaining.
who does get the pick on Gogg. We have Coffee with 150 health versus Alex with 125 health. They both have rifles. They should know where each other are if the comms are strong.
10 seconds left.
And Coffee checks the corner, doesn't fully process Alex's presence, but gets the kill anyway with the repeat.
I mean, well played by Coffee. Crazy clutch king. That didn't work. But that was, I mean, great win for them. Great win for the Team Alchemists.
And they're clawing their way back into contention in this match. It was 5-10, now it's 7-10. We'll see if they can continue the trend. Once again, a staggered buy from Aburble, but still 2 rifles in the hands of Colin and Gogg. 3 rifles on the side of the attackers. Coffee has a slow orb out when he peeks. Strange strategy. He gets taken down to a low health, has to heal himself. Alex, playing the same position. He's played every single round and gotten 1 or more kills every round by doing the same thing. Takes out Salted. I think the real question for this half is going to be whether Alchemists are ever able to do anything about just Alex doing the same thing every round in showers.
They
or
have
lamps,
not
rather.
changed anything about it. I mean...
I mean, he's just... I think, like, 5 of his 9 kills, I think, are just from standing there and shooting them when they walk up to him.
Are they going to try and res
30
Salted?
seconds left.
I don't... Have we seen a res yet this game?
Coffee res Salted earlier in the first
Oh, he did.
half. Coffee's just gonna... They're
true,
just
maybe
gonna
it's-
rush in for the res. Not even check the angle.
Coffee doesn't check the corner at all. He just runs out, but luckily Jacory did.
Somebody's gonna pick up on that spike. Oh, Jacory just barely gets it down.
Yeah. And now, with the res, it's now 3 attackers all together holding the post plant. And Aburble now has to retake 2v3. Colin shoots the turret from heaven.
Standing.
Jacory gets to pick on Alex, and it's now all up to Colin, who does manage to take down Coffee, but now has to kill both of the attackers and defuse the spike as the clock is ticking down. Colin runs around and pre-fires all the angles, but Jacory's ready for him.
I mean, in a game defined by these teams constantly rotating, I don't think we've seen any more steps taken than in that round. I mean, Jacory and Coffee were running back and forth trying to make sure that they could bring Salted up, and then just, it somehow worked. I mean, Salted was in seemingly a position that you couldn't really res from. I mean, he's in an open position that's easily held from heaven or lamps, and they just took him and took the whole game with them, or took the whole round with them.
Now, don't get me wrong, we're definitely seeing a strong attacking performance from Alchemists, but my personal goal for them is to see if they can just once kill Alex.
Kill Alex, which they're gonna get another chance, and I don't have high hopes for them, I'm gonna be honest.
Alex throws down a smoke to prevent the push by Alchemists up A short. Gogg is holding close and showers with a judge, but he gets wallbanged by Salted, who must have seen the tip of his gun.
I'm thinking he
Huge
saw
kill.
the knee. Gogg was up and down doing squats, and I'm thinking
He saw
Salted
his
maybe
knee.
saw the knee.
That could be. The fatal slip from Gogg, just the crouching. Colin gets a couple shots on the Coffee, but with just a ghost from long range doesn't do too much to him. And now once again the attackers have a firm hold on site with the spike down and forcing the defenders into a retake 2v3. This was a save round for Aburble, so they're not losing out too much, but this isn't looking good for Colin's retake prospects here. He's trying to get a frag, which he does not. Jacory gets him with the headshot, and that is another round for Alchemists, bringing it up to 9-10. We might see this game be tied yet again so late in the game after Aburble had taken a dominant 10-5 lead that's now slipping away from them.
And I think with that, officially, this is, regardless of which team wins or loses, this will be the game with the losing team having the highest amount of round wins so far in the tournament, I think. I think before it was at 8. So, closest game we've really had this whole tournament, and, back and forth constantly.
Looks like now Alchemists are going to be seeing what they can get done attacking on B, sneaking up B long, and it's, as usual, just Colin there to defend the site with his Killjoy utility. Colin watching a very tight angle from elbow. He knows nobody's in hookah. He hears the orb, so he knows at least somebody is B long.
Joke's over. You're dead.
And Jacory with that orb ults onto site. Colin retreats, doesn't want to face the ult. They get rid of the turret, and now the rotate is coming in from Aburble. Both players rushing over to B site.
Oh, you ain't coming back.
Oh, Jacory gets Colin with the potentially running shot, or maybe he just.
He was sprinting. Oh, he was sprinting.
I don't want to discredit Jacory. He might have just had a clean counter strafe,
Player
but
standing.
looked like a bit of running and gunning. 1v1, Phoenix v Phoenix, but Jacory susses out where Gogg's ult spot is, and with 4 health, manages to take Gogg down.
We're tied again.
We are once again tied.
We're tied.
10-10.
Oh my gosh.
Absolute back and forth. Jacory has really stepped up this half, given the space he's given to do so on attack. He wasn't doing as well as Gogg or Colin in the first half, but now he's commanding the leaderboard with 23 kills. Looks like this is going to be a 3-man push through showers potentially. We'll see if the Alchemists want to fake A and draw the rotate, or if they want to go fast, execute, and take A site. They have to imagine that Aburble's doing the same thing that they've done every round with a 2-man hold of A. So they're going to have to watch out for both players. Gogg holding a passive back site angle, maybe looking to get a cheeky kill once Alchemists have made their way on site. Looks like Alchemists are just going to pull out. They're going to say, no thank you, we're not going A.
They're running.
At least not through showers. They didn't really do anything to warrant a rotate from Aburble, but yet Colin rotated to go throw down the ult. So now it's a race to B site. Respectable decision from Colin to just go over, pop the ult, then run back. But now it's just him left to defend B site, unless Gogg and Alex can rotate in time. Salted gets the pick on Colin up in Garden, and now once again, 3 attackers alive with the spike down. 2 players forced to be on retake. It's not looking good for Aburble in this round. They know where both players are. They know Alex is in CT, and Jacory spots him out and gets the kill. It's now just a 1v3 clutch scenario that Gogg is not managing to get done.
And with that, I think that's the first time that Alchemists have ever been in the lead this game. They've constantly been chasing for the tie, but this is the first time I think they've taken the lead. And what
I believe you're right. Yeah, you want to be taking the lead if ever. You want it to be
at the end. I mean.
At the end, exactly.
And I feel like that's the other thing to know. The intensity. This is an elimination game, so one of these teams will be leaving this game completely out of the tournament, and so the intensity should start to set in.
And if Alchemists manage to get these next 2 rounds, Jacory will remain undefeated in the tournament.
He always did have that padding going into this game. I mean, for him, this is just another game.
He had the confidence. There was no loss under his belt to bring him down, to weigh on him. Looks like Jacory's gonna try to make some space on A. He's gonna run into lamps, clear that out. They've done this a couple times where we've had one of the Phoenixes or other ult out onto site and the other 2 teammates not follow him, which is strange, but they're gonna throw down Killjoy ult. Shots are gonna be fired from back site. Gogg's holding there, about to get detained, and with Gogg detained, he's just easy pickings.
Go team Aburble.
But Colin
Player standing.
gets a pick on Salted but gets traded. And now, with Alex on low health, it's going to be tough for him to defuse this spike. He has to kill both of the defenders, or the attackers rather, first.
And especially
Got
him
an-
leaving lamps, he lost his guaranteed kill.
Yeah, with him leaving lamps, the attackers knew not to fuck with it, so he's trying to defuse, but Jacory just hops into his smoke and takes him down.
Wow.
It is now match point for the team that was not up 10-5.
That is, I mean, just crazy. One thing I want to know, my favorite part of the whole game, I think, was the very interesting play by Gogg to not shoot out Jacory's ult and just hide in the corner. Of course, then that played against him because then he was caught in the killjoy, he was caught behind a wall, and his molly just did not go over the wall. But I think he would have, you know, had a really easy 2-3k there if Alchemists hadn't played that as well as they did.
Yeah, that's a good take. And now it looks like the defenders are switching up their strategy, putting 2 on B and putting the Killjoy on A site to solo hold. And it's convenient because Alchemists are in fact heading up to B. Jacory takes a little bit of chip damage, but nothing crazy. Looks like they're going to rotate over to A as Colin is rotating over to B. Potentially a fatal misstep and leaving the site wide open.
Oh, that's definitely...
Alex not there in lamps to kill all of them, so the site is taken. Once again, a Burble set on retake. At least it's 3v3, but this isn't looking super good. Colin has to get this pick, which he does.
Almost gets
Gets
coffee.
the pick on Jacory and almost gets Coffee, but at least takes him down to half health, forcing Coffee to heal.
Player standing.
With a great blind, Gogg takes out Coffee, and it's just up to Salted. Gogg gonna shoot only one molly,
Going up.
and I think it's over.
It is. Oh, no.
Post plant, well played from Salted.
Attackers win.
Once again, not shooting the molly, fatal misstep.
Probably one of the closest games we've had. I mean, definitely the closest game we've had so far, but